Hello, it's been a while. And yeah, I'm back in Minecraft again. Things have changed, not only in this, but things have changed just in general, especially with my computer and stuff. I had a pretty tough time recently because a lot of the games I was playing more recently on here, like the last 4 streams, I think, were emulators using the Launchbox system. That Launchbox system and all the emulators on it were loaded onto a separate hard drive in this computer. That hard drive died. Just completely died. Inaccessible, unretrievable, just dead. So all the games that are on there are gone. Luckily, that was the only thing on there, but every single one of those emulation things are just dead and gone. I'll have to try to figure out how to. Well, some of the games I'm going to want to play by myself, I'll figure out how to emulate in the future. But yeah, one of the main things I've been working on in this is I started setting up the ME system, which is actually more useful than I gave it credit for in the past. And I switched over something for my current sorting system, replacing those drawers that were here before, which had limited storage, even with the highest rank upgrades you could put on them. They'd always have limited storage. I replaced them with item barrels that are infinite capacity. So that's for my current automation for that stuff. The only thing I currently have going into the ME system is the stuff that used to be over here. Yes, and I'm jetpacking around. God, I hope those leg spikes mellow out. Oh, God. Because that would not be pleasant to view while I'm whipping around and moving around so erratically like I always do in this game. Figure eights. Figure eights. And that's hard to watch if you're not prepared to expect it. I tore down this area here. Used to have the automation and separation for my 2 trees over here, one of which is a mineral tree, the other one is an apple sapling. And this is hopping bonsai pots. They're prevalent in a lot of these overhaul automation mods, and they're getting imported. I can actually, yeah, I already took that out. Good. That is the only thing currently going into the system. I also took the excess stuff that I built for making that Crimson Rights forever ago and put that in the system just to get rid of them, basically. So there's a couple of random stuff like these mundane rings, these liquid death buckets, the scribing tools. Yeah, I heard you. I moved you so that you'd have space here. Why are you now injured? Can I heal you? No. Just wasted a wheat. Oh, I'll have to grab one when I go back up there. Something really that I'm really excited for, though, and some massive progress that has been made, involves the cows in here. I made 5 breeding pairs once I got the last 2 required for that. So if I check the achievement book here and go to the cows tab, I got these 2, the Stellar Alloy and the Evil Infused Iron, and made 5 breeding pairs. That was about 2 to 3 days ago. And here it is. Literally got it less than 20 minutes ago. The culmination of all of this. Yeah, next usage, 4 hours and... It takes about 4 hours and 20 minutes, or 4.5 hours close. Yeah, probably about 4.5 hours for this to give me 1 bucket. In about 200 hours, probably, I have gotten 2 Infinity Catalysts, because I got another one. And I'm about halfway, a little over halfway to a 3rd one. And it takes 11 to make 1 ingot. So I'm barely over a 5th of the way to 1 molten infinity ingot, or 1 infinity ingot. And one of those buckets that usage gives me, that I will get every 4 hours or so, and as I breed and breed more of them, I will get more of them, will give me 6 ingots worth. Like, let's actually look here. If I were to find an ingot of something, like, look at this. It doesn't actually tell me when I hover over it, but if I were to take 1 ingot, excuse me, if I were to take 1 ingot, this is just for demonstration purposes. Let's take an ingot of iron. I don't think I have anything in there. I don't. If I were to take 1 ingot, melt it down in here. Just take a second. This is for informational purposes. Whoop. My chair was making squeakies. 1 ingot. Oh, God. Why is it moving so slow suddenly? Oh, God. What happened? What just happened? What happened? What just happened? Oh, fucking hell. It did that thing. All right. Give me a second. There we go. I have a new mouse, too, which allows me to do stuff like this and this without actually like scrolling or anything like that, and without pressing a key on my keyboard. So it has buttons on it that I need to reprogram because they control the DPI settings, and I just accidentally hit the button that decreases it, which is why it was moving so slowly. But yeah, 1 ingot, 144 millibuckets. That is less than 166, which is the borderline for 6 ingots to be made, pretty much. What is going on with this? I need to... Borderline for 6 ingots to be made is 166. So at least 6 ingots are in 1 bucket. Alright? And that takes 4.5 hours, whereas over the course of several hundred hours, I have yet to make... I've barely made a fifth of an ingot. And that's a single ingot. So, yeah, that Molten Infinity Cow, it's going to be worth quite a bunch. And, yeah, my jetpack occasionally shoots me like that. I'm used to it happening. Hopefully it doesn't make this too unpleasant to watch. Of course, it's been like that since I got this jetpack. After, like, the first video of these I did, I got this jetpack a little bit later. I was planning on streaming anyway today, but I just got that cow. I'm like, yeah, I'll start streaming now. I was going to wait a little bit longer because there's something else I've been working on. Here, I'm almost done mining out the 3rd row. And what I was going to do was I was going to finish mining out the 3rd row. This won't take long. It'll be like 15 minutes at most. With me talking, it'll take slightly longer than if I wasn't talking, but it should still only take like 15 minutes. I'll be able to build the 3rd row of stuff using the things inside this chest. Oh, and I got some awakened draconium. I'll put that away in the base. Because I want to get that cow put away before I get too far. Because it was about to grow up. And yeah, it might already be grown up now. So let's head back to the cow. And yeah, I'm so used to certain movements and stuff. I also made a new sword. This sword, base level, does a lot more damage than my other sword would have. And I also made myself an interesting ranged weapon, because it's still going to be a while before I can make awakened draconium stuff. Ooh, nice sound for chapter completed. Sit there, my precious. Alright. And that's what happens in this mod pack when you complete a chapter. You get that tone, it tells you a chapter is completed, and I get to collect some rewards. Well, specifically that reward. 2 times drops of evil. Nice. Still haven't even started Project E. I barely made any progress in the mining dimension. Like, barely. I haven't even started the automatic crafting yet for that ME's based stuff. But yeah, I haven't made it to the end yet, and you can't make a chicken stick and get the, you don't get the achievement for making a chicken stick until after you make it to the end. There's a couple of dolls I still have to make. I still have to try to find the gas somehow. Squid in witch water. I have to get a squid. Great. Shulker. Guardian. Slime. Basos. Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, the main changes that I was referring to at the title of this is the fact that I just lost the things I was using this for a while there, and I'm now back to doing this for a little bit. There's a good chance I'll be doing mod packs for a while, or there's a specific game I quite enjoy myself. Whoop, leg spike. That I haven't been able to get myself to stick with and play as much recently because I'm getting burnt out on it, because it's a lot of grinding. That I have to try to deal with. It is called Neo. It is a Souls-like game that's also a loot grind type game made by Team Ninja. I am very interested in the series itself overall, but I'm very interested in Neo, and I've played some of it, a good portion of it. Like, when I say some of it, I put like over 100 hours into it, but I haven't beaten the game yet. And it's a game that stresses me the frick out, but I really enjoy. I really like the combat system. I really like the way that certain mechanics are used in it. I like the world and the characters and stories that are being told. I like the way it introduces concepts and works through things. Some of it is not done well, but it's still enjoyable for me. But it is grind heavy. And I reached a point in it with a certain thing I want to try to accomplish that is extremely grind heavy, that I have not been able to force myself to work through yet. Let's grab the eye and that. Yes. That I might stream that because there's another factor, something I have to look into, that I have difficulty with when it comes to streaming on this stuff. I myself am not actually capturing this footage per se. I am streaming it. I do not store this footage anywhere. This footage is going directly to YouTube and is stored by YouTube, however they store it. So, however that works is the way it's going to have to, is the way it is. Iron. Which one of these has iron? Iron's over here. This one has iron. Yeah, I also have this item, this little green gem. Means that when I'm holding an item in my hand, this little sparkly thing shows up on any storage device that currently holds that item. I actually want to test it on something from this to see if it registers how it works this system, or how it takes this system into account. Okay, so it's not showing that, and it's not showing that. So that thing does not work for this system, but if you do this system properly, the system's already going to be holding everything you made. So it's all going to be in the same place anyway. This item that I currently have equipped in my bauble slot, so it's not like taking a slot in my inventory, is very helpful for finding stuff if you don't know where it is exactly, or if it's like a random item that you just pick up from somewhere. Oh yeah, I also cut down severely on the number of cloches I have here, changed up the types of cloches I'm doing because I've been doing the ME network, I stopped producing redstone over here because I have 165 stacks of 64 blocks and up 220 stacks, 64 blocks over there. So I had enough redstone. Replace it with Fluix crystal because that takes some effort to make. I'm making dye essence because of the way these things work and certain things I can do with dyeing these different colors and how they work in that aspect. Silicon. Silicon's useful. I have 4,000 stacks of it. I don't think I need more. 400 stacks of blocks of quartz means 1,600 stacks of actual like quartz pieces. Yeah. And I'm producing wool now because wool was a really limiting thing because these smart cables are the ones that have an image on them and tell you how many channels are being occupied on that thing because there's channel limits and connection limits. Like this takes a channel. This cable can only have 32 channels attached to it. And then it breaks if you try to do more or something like that. So I wanted smart channels so I could tell at a glance how much was being used. This one's using 2 of it. This one's using 2. So like bleach through that. But once I reach this block where it branches over there, this block is using 4 because 2 of the channels are being used here. This is not using any. That's using 1. That's using 2. That's using 4. It's complicated. But that's one of the things I was working on. And I found tutorials on it that I've watched in the past, but now that I have more experience with this mod pack and aspects of it, parts of those tutorials made more sense to me and were actually more interesting than they were previously. I still think the grid is a more simplified version of it, but the grid also had limitations from being more simplified. Yeah, I'm replacing the filters here because I made a fuck ton of flux while I was trying to do that Thaumcraft stuff. And having flux in the air is just irritating for Thaumcraft things. So this entire machine here removes flux from the air and tries to purify stuff or at least clean it out some. But you have to do maintenance on it because when one of these turns purple, it is no longer removing flux from the air, and it acts as a stopping point. As in, if it was just like a single like unbranched line, anything past it from the point of origin, which is that little box there, would not be able to take anything out of the air. It would all be limited severely by these. And actually, it still does limit it severely because it limits the channel flow and all this other stuff. So going through here every now and then and cleaning it up by putting in new filters, and that's what I'm doing here with this. I'm literally just like quick swapping the filter is how it's described. I am making it so that it can process stuff more easily. And yes, I have a little bit excess being made here for the amount that I actually need to store. Another useful thing about this item that I'm currently have equipped though, that will continue to be useful, it makes dropped items. If you're not holding anything, they don't give off that. If you press shift, they give it off. Or if you're holding the same type of item, they give it off. So it's easier to find items if you like miss something while you're building stuff. And this was the thing that broke my game a couple days, like a while ago, like months ago at this point, I think. But that was just because of an issue I had with communication and trying to figure out how to make the mod work. Because automation was an issue. And everything I could find anywhere would not automate this fucking system. And that was irritating. Because they never automated it. Really. So I didn't know you can just pump it straight into there. No frickin' clue. There and there, 150. 56. Wow. Whip, 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 whip. Going there. Yeah, 24,000. Vast majority of that is stuff pulled from the atmosphere. So I have pulled over 24,000 flux from the atmosphere. Yeah. 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 Is there another one over there? Nope. So what I plan... Ugh. Had a yawn climb into my throat there for a moment. Taking a drink quick. What I plan on doing, or start working on this stream some more, involves those cloches still. The cloche layer, as I call it, which is the stuff that's producing my resources for these things. Yeah, all the machinery on this level, all of this machinery goes into those things. This is all essentially thrown in the garbage. Everything produced here is essentially thrown in the garbage, but the garbage is slow, or it's not thrown in the garbage, is making extremely small progress towards something that will become vastly inefficient, but I still require. Because the thing is, to make a lot of the items that you make using the infinity ingots, you also need to have infinity catalyst items. So making those catalyst items is not a waste, it's just... it's not the best way to make an ingot. And I now have the best way to make an ingot, which is that cow, which will take 4 hours, another frickin' 4 hours from even now, to produce a single bucket, which is just over 6 ingots. And the first thing I'm making is a sword. I can't make the armor yet, and I'm not going to be able to make the armor for a while, because the armor stuff requires Project E, which I haven't touched yet, because I can't make a Philosopher's Stone yet, because I haven't fought the dragon yet. Because I haven't made it to the end yet. Because I've been doing too much automation in this realm, I haven't made it through the mining dimension yet, and I need to progress further there. I just realized I don't even know if that's... I think that stuff was set up my last stream. I definitely didn't have Gaia set up last stream. I have killed Gaia. So I have the upgraded version of my pendant, which was the only thing I wanted to kill Gaia for. And I'll show that in a moment under my bauble slot. But there was only one reason why I wanted to fight Gaia using the Botania stuff. Otherwise, I could have stopped well before that in the Botania. And yeah, this is what I've been doing. I've actually made a lot faster progress on this part of it more recently than I did for the second layer back. But that's just getting these columns out, because each one of these chunks is what I call them. They're not actually chunks. Each one of these big cubic things is actually a cube. It is 6 by 6 by 6. It is 216 blocks. 6 cubed. There were, once I got all these lines with the glowstone placed, 56 of these cubes. This one I'm currently working on is the 4th from last. So there's 3 more left after this one will be done. And it only takes it takes less than 5 minutes to do one of these. Quite honestly, it does. If I'm paying attention and actually working on it. I can blitz through these very fast. It's just having the motivation to do so, because it's extremely repetitive, was the main thing holding me back from that. Well, there's something. I don't think I... No, I have. I actually left this running overnight, which might be contributing some to the lag it's experiencing some. This game was launched yesterday that I am currently playing. This was left running overnight. I did not close this since yesterday. So that might be contributing some to my lag. But once I finish off this, I'll actually start working on this third row and show you how my system for this works, kind of. Because it kind of works. It is horribly inefficient, but it has result. And by horribly inefficient, I don't even mean like it makes less of this per like hour. It doesn't make less per hour. It might make less per moment, like on a smaller scale. But considering the large scale that I'm working with for production anyway, it's not less efficient. It just uses more resources. That is the main issue, is it uses more resources than it should. Or really needs to. And I don't care too much about that because I'm using cloches. Cloches are essentially unlimited resources of certain types. Depending on what cloches you set up and how you use them. So, yeah. One thing I love about this Stoneblock 2 that is changed, because the cloches and the mystical agriculture integration into cloches is present in Sky Factory 3. That was a lot of words and terms I just used. And I'm going to continue to use some. However, in Sky Factory 3, it would produce the essence and it would produce a seed each cycle. So you get one essence and one seed each cycle. It's slightly annoying in this in one aspect, but greatly improved is also the fact, is a combination of the fact that you don't get seeds now from these cycles. You just get essence. But what that means is you have to craft all of your seeds. All of them. You can't just make one of the type you want and then build up a supply of that seed from it. You have to craft every single seed you're going to use. Which is a somewhat daunting aspect of it, but you make one of that type of item and then you can make unlimited of that type of item, so it's not really that big of an issue. It's just, you do have to craft every single seed. Almost done with this second tube. And yeah, 316 blocks, which is 3 stacks plus 24. So 4 of these things, funnily enough, is 10 and a half stacks exactly. 4 of these cubes is 10 and a half stacks, which is 692. 692 blocks of cobblestone for 4 of these. Which doesn't actually make sense. It should be 800. Give me a second. It's not 10 stacks then. It'd have to be... Yeah, it's not 10 stacks. It's 13. 13 and a half stacks, which adds some more to that. So yeah. That math was off. I will try to think about it some, but I don't have time to devote to thinking to that right now. I am speaking, and speaking near constantly, so my brain cannot math accurately. Yeah, this is what I have been doing. And this is how I made like all of these areas. Is section out of place, like make the division lines, go in, mine out, make like this 6x6 chunk. All my heights are usually about 6. Some of them are 4, sure, but most of them are 6. And then just go in and mine it. And that's why I have. You'll see it when I put down the thing on slot 8 right now to put away this cobblestone. I have a lot of cobblestone because I've been building everything in this dimension. Yeah, it's kind of boring, so I'm yawning. Yes, I am yawning, which will make people watch this yawn and make them fall asleep, possibly. But, oh well. It's just been a while since I streamed, and I did want to stream more. I was planning on streaming the day that drive died. I was planning on coming into my room, setting up a streaming thing, and being like, I need to keep doing this. Let's do it. Stream something. Just stream something. I feel like playing the game. Let's stream it. And then my computer died. It wouldn't start. The boot up sequence failed. And we had to take it in, and that drive was gone. The emulator drive was gone. But everything else was untouched because that's the thing. It just hit the emulator because the emulator was kind of quarantined on that one drive. But there was just too much stuff on it, which honestly, the really shitty thing about it, honestly, was I was planning on trying to go in and delete like a good portion of the games that were on there. Stuff that I was never going to play, stuff I was never going to touch. I was planning on going in and just getting rid of. Like majority of some of those really old systems or some of those home computer systems, certain types of game I was just planning on like wholesale getting rid of. And before I really, and I was going to knuckle down and do it, but before I did, it gave up the ghost. I gotta go pick up one of those. Sometimes when I move it up, I move up too far and I end up breaking one of those because this mines very quickly. And my smooth stone is still at base. I could put in like cobblestone or just put something else, but I want it to be smooth. I don't really care about aesthetics for the most of it. You saw my base, but for some reason this I want it to be smooth stone if I'm not like in that area. One thing that I'm going to be looking forward to that's going to also be like, well, that was annoying, is when I break down my chicken automation later, once I get all that figured out into the ME storage and sorted through and figured out for ME storage, God, that's going to be satisfying to break down. The thing is, I have a lot of categorization to do before that. Because if you have a lot of materials that need to be smelted and need further processing to be done, it is better to do that processing before you enter it into the ME system due to that channel limitation thing I kind of mentioned earlier. Because the process of taking a material out of the ME system to process it and then put it back into the ME system will take at least 2 channels. and I don't want to waste those channels. So I want to pre-process it and then load it into the ME system once it is processed to limit that. It will still cut down on channels and space a fuck ton, and just be like ease of access basically. There we go. That's the third row. And that's what this looks like once I get it mined. That is several chunks of distance. Yeah. 2,223 stacks, or 142,000 blocks. And now there's more. And now it takes up one slot in my inventory. And this is all the materials to make those cloches. And that's what I'm going to work on after I drop off these feathers that were in my inventory. And also, I need to go grab a piece of smooth stone. Cloche. There it is. There we go. Alright. Now, let's start with all the sinks. Let's take all the sinks, take all the water transfer nodes, and we'll take a couple stacks of that. Alright. Sink. Run. Alright. So the lineup is the sinks go on those blocks there, and then skip one in the block before, then another sink, skip one block before, another sink, skip one the block before, and that is already like 3 worth of sink setup. So that will make 4. 5, 6. Now the 7th one is different, because you put one there, then you put one here, then you put one here. And now it's changed until we get to the end. So it's the one after, skip one, place on, one after, skip one, on, after, on, after, on, after, on, after, and then finally on. That's all the sinks I need. Fluid transfer nodes. Every sink gets 1 except for that one in the middle, which will get 2. So yeah, this is taking a little bit of time, but this is how I set up the whole thing. I didn't tend to do it in this mass grouping like this. I tended to like mine out 1 cloche's worth of areas, which was a 4x4 of that 6x6x6 cubes. And then I would build that individual cloche section and then work on the next section. But this one went a lot faster because I just stayed in the mining mindset. Now I'm in the building mindset, which is going to take some time, and that's what the main purpose of this stream in particular is. This stream's at least going to go through me building the entire thing and getting it all set up. And however long that takes, that's probably how long the stream will end up being, because I expect that to take at least the 20 minutes required to get me to an hour. And that's how long that's my base level for these, tends to be like an hour if I can manage it. And then these go all the way down. And this is supplying water to the cloches, because the cloches need water to be supplied to the back of them. They need power to be supplied to the top of them. They need a dirt block or whatever type of block the thing you're going to grow in them requires. They need the seed, and they have a 4-space internal inventory that can be taken out using a space on the front of the cloche and put into a separate storage device. Ah, gosh. Yeah, this takes a while. Oh my god, so many pipes. And so much pipe. They're literally pipes as well. There we go. That's all the water-based stuff. So I'm going to put away these two materials for now. I'll probably end up taking them out of these once I get this done, but for now, that's how it's getting stored. Also going to put these away for now. Cloches next. Cloches next. I want all of these. Alright. Do I have enough torches? I don't have enough torches. I'm going to need to get some more torches before I finish this up. Yeah, and every single bit of that pipe I just placed will have a cloche tied to it as well. So I actually kind of have an idea of how much pipe I would need, which was less than 3 stacks worth, but I did grab a bunch of stacks worth. And as you can see, this is the part this is the output, and there's a space for power at the top that powers the light bulb. And if you look on the back, it's kind of hard to tell. It doesn't look like that orange thing. I'll actually place one here and show you. It's actually a space here. That space is for the water intake. Bip, bip. Hey, I'm over halfway, because that was the halfway point, is that one central one. Because there's 12 in each section. Ah. Access. Okay. Yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta grab some torches before I do the next part. Hey, where do I have any other torches right now? Doesn't appear so. It's kind of interesting. Okay, because I put torches on top of there. Coal. I have some coal somewhere. Or charcoal, even. Charcoal. That's plenty. I need 2 sticks. And that, like that, like that. Alright, that's plenty. Back to cloche. Okay. I'm going to place the dirt blocks next. The power system is going to be slow and painful. But this is also slow and painful because I have to right click on each one individually. At least there's a visible like textural difference whether or not they have dirt. You know? At least I'm not like, oh, did I get all of them? Oh, I have to actually physically check by clicking on all of them. That is the beneficial thing of this system is you know whether or not you've done part of it. Woo. That. Got it. So yeah, this isn't the most exciting stream, but I need to get back into it again because I took a break there. Partially because my computer was in the store for a couple of days getting fixed up. I have an entirely new hard drive in here that was empty when I got it. I've already put some Steam games on there just because I wanted to. And yeah, the next game, if it's not Minecraft, will most likely be Neo because I have a lot of grinding to do on there that I think maybe streaming it will help motivate me more to get it done. You never know in this type of thing. At least I never know. Someone probably does know, but I never know. Keeping track. Yeah, that was 48, so at the end of this one I should have 4 left over. Boop-a-doop-a-doop, bop-bop, boop-a-doop-a-doop, bop-bop. Whoa. Right. Starting on the next stack, I should have 56 at the end of this grouping. Alright. That's 6 out of 13 done. My hand's seizing up. Alright. Then 50 and the halfway break. Okay. Then we go down to 44. And it'll be down to 32. Oh, stack and a half. You think this is tedious? Wait till I get to the frickin' flux points. That's going to be tedium. And again, more efficient ways of doing it that would have less wastage, per se. I don't really care about wastage. I find a way to do it that works for my brain, and that's how I do it for the amount of time I am required to do it for. Three chunks left, okay. Oh god, my hand is like clawing up so massively right now. Because I'm constantly pressing shift. I'm going to stop pressing shift for a little bit. That makes it... God, that makes my brain do weird stuff. Ah. .48, I believe, should be the cutoff for this grouping. And this should be the last grouping coming up. Yep. We'll be down to 36 by the end of it. Before I put on, I want to do something slightly less tedious now. Still pretty tedious, but I want to put these on first. Before I put those on. This is just a slow process more than it is tedious. Although, I do actually have to do this as well. And it appears I did not press F7. So this is like one of the less tedious parts of it, because I actually have to think about what I'm doing for that other portion of it, rather than just sidestepping and clicking the same buttons over and over again. This is just the way I've always done it. Again, probably more efficient ways to do it. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might be asking me, why are there 13 of them, by the way, and how do I remember 13 so easily? 13 is the number of materials required to form the singularities, to form the catalyst for an infinity ingot. And that's what the purpose of all these cloches is, to form the catalyst items. Which, yes, I've formed several of, but I'm still going to continue to produce, and I basically set up this entire other system well before the cows were even close to being done. And that last cow, which I just got today, by the way, had a 1% breeding chance from the previous 2 cows. And I got the other one less than a week ago, my first one of those, and that itself had a 2% chance of breeding from 2 other cows. So yeah, this was a backup, and will still remain to be a backup. But that's basically its intention. All right, 24 more. I actually do like to set the piping before I do everything else. Oh, yeah. Also, another tedious thing about that flux point thing. You think it's just going to be tedious to do these top ones? Yeah, I have to do 3 times as many of these flux points because each one of these has a flux point underneath it. So yeah. Once I start working on flux points, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, go in there. I don't really need glowstone anymore. Do I want to lay pipe? Do I want to start mining out those channels for those? Let's put on the ones on top of those for now. And then we'll mine out the channels slowly as well. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. I wish there was a way to like mass inscribe the network on these, but you do have to individually go to each one and say, hey, you're going to take power from this network. Which is just peachy keen. Boop, beep, bop, bop, beep, bop, bop. A little bit longer. Alright. Alright. I go to 7. Well, that's 4. That's 7. Unlock. There. Alright. Boop. Yep. skip 2, 1, 2. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, here. Okay. Yeah, these channels. 1, 2, here. 2. Okay. 1, 2, here. 2, 3. All right. 1, 2, here. Now this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So got a little while to go. That was just past halfway. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Up. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 1, dip. Where's, like, well, I have a, huh. It's always weird when you're like, where the frick did that block go? Oh well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or more accurately, actually, in that sense. Ah, because I did one block. Okay. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Woo! Now the reason why I'm not doing... Well, I could do this row quickly. Yeah, I'll do that row as well. Let's skip 1 space and then you do the same thing again. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Skip 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Oh, one more and then I'll get to the halfway point. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. You think this is tedious? This is the third time I've done this stuff. This is the third time I've done stuff. This is why I usually chunk it out, because my brain works better doing it in chunks rather than doing it wholesale like this. But that's my ADD aspect coming through. I can do it wholesale like this, and in some cases, it gives slightly better result. Now, the interesting thing is not all of these are set up the same, as you could tell from like flybys before. Some of them have, they all have a compressor, something that takes an item and compresses it. Takes like 9 of it and turns it into a block. All of them have that in this second row. Some of them, though, have a compressor in the first row as well. A lot of the different materials require an item crafter in the first row. Like here. This is a crafter. This, you have to put in enough to make the recipe, but then it will automatically craft that, then it goes into a compressor. These ones that are double compressors are what I refer to as the jewel ones. It is emerald and diamond, which I have one of in these first rows. Also, redstone works that same way. It's a compressor for redstone, but redstone makes so much that I only have one of those. 1 emerald, 1 diamond. Second row has 2 diamond and 2 emerald down there. This third row will have 4 emerald and 4 diamond, because those are the ones that take the longest. So only the middle 5. So this center one and 2 on each side of that center one will be metals. So those are the only ones that will require an auto crafter. But what that does end up meaning is I need a lot of auto compressors, and I don't think I have enough. There's a good chance I'll have to make more. They're simple to make. They're actually easier to make than an auto crafter. So that's not an issue. It's just having to do it. Put this away. We go to 1. Drink my juice. And then we go to 5. And we put that back in there to fill that up. Okay. Mostly set up, mostly good. Okay. Alright. that was half of them. Okay. There we go. That's all of those placed. Leg. That's all those placed. Not done with those yet, but they're all placed. Ugh. That's the way these systems work, type of thing. It's actually taking longer than I thought it would to set this stuff up now. I'm probably not going to do the rest of this on stream because it is very boring and tedious, but that's the basic idea of how these work. As I said, since all of the things that are going into here are just metals, since this is entirely for that, they all make the ring. It does require you to have this essence. Like, this isn't just something I like right click and place an image there. No, that's literally an essence sitting there. So it does waste a lot of the essence to do it this way. And that's the main drawback to it, honestly, for like efficiency's sake, is I am wasting resources. They're at this end. These ones, though, since it takes 9 in a cube to make 1 diamond, doesn't get wasted, really. And each one of these is color-coded to a specific other ender chest, and that other ender chest is back at base. And here, I will never auto-sort this chest because it is specifically placed so that this is the lime one. Diamond is lime. Emerald is magenta, and so on in all of these. That is the color for that type. Never auto-sort this chest. But since that's taking up so much time and so much tedium, 3, crafting table, awakened ingot. I'm probably going to finish that up off stream. Yeah, like all this stuff, all this waste here too. Let's clean that up some over time. And also automating certain production of certain things. Like, I put in here, there's upgrade stuff you can put, like speed of machinery. This is a crusher. I needed a lot of the crushed quartz-based stuff for the different things I was making, the nether quartz and the surge quartz, different reasons. I needed a lot of glass, so I did an automation thing here with a redstone furnace. This does not have upgrades because I have to make a better redstone furnace to be able to make it upgradable or augmented. Enrichment chambers upgraded fully, like all 8 stacks of speed, which means it's 10 times faster. Uses 10 times as much energy probably. That's also got 8 stacks. Over here I have the ones I actually use for normal crafting. This crusher and this enrichment chamber also have 8 of each of those. So I did a bunch of stuff, just like random things. I changed the thing that I've been feeding into there to make these crystals. I put all that stuff in here. All of the crates or whatever they're called, the small box things, these things, the basic drawers, if they had an upgrade attached to them or some type of thing. Excuse me. I already broke all those down because that gave me a lot of herba essence and I wasn't going to use them for anything else. And they don't stack. That is the downside of them. Once you put an upgrade in them, they do not stack. Not only are they limited capacity, they don't stack. Like, if this was empty and I had another drawer that was also empty and had a 1024 stack limit, they wouldn't stack. They'd be separate. Even if they were both empty. Whereas these all have infinite capacity. Yeah, that's why I'm going to stop streaming soon, because I'm yawning so much. And that is not good for this. These stack, which is why I prefer doing them. Also, these are really cheap, and you can just use one to make a chest into a better thing. So that's nice. Also, I'm going to show you how many items are in here. Look at this. 55,000 sticks, 23,000 wood, 35,000 mineral. These 22 buckets are each a separate stack. The same with the scribing tools and mundane rings are each a separate stack. 19,000 apples. Here's my storage. I am using this drive here. It is not even half full. I have 18 drives this size in this computer. One of them is not half full yet with that many materials. That is why I'm transferring over to the ME network. Because not only is it easier to find materials, it stores an absolute shite ton. But there's a lot of processing and stuff I gotta figure out. Because basically, there's actually a doorway that leads to it. All the stuff back here, this entire network, I eventually want to make like considerably smaller and have that feed directly into the ME network. Which will actually be relatively simple if I do it properly. That might... I just had a thought. That'll actually make it easier on me. I have to figure out what all each item can have. The main thing with the ME network is any pre-processing you want to do ahead of time. Like with these blocks of prosperity, block of uranium. Real place where that's an issue is the metal ones. Because, okay, the way that stuff like this nickel, silver, all these metals down here, the way they work is when you're sifting, you get a piece. 4 pieces compress into a chunk. A chunk can be smelted in a redstone furnace for 1 ingot. 9 ingots make a block. So that's a lot of processing, pre-processing I have to do for making those metals. Most of these, like redstone, glowstone, bone block, you just compress them, they make a block. Uranium is uranium dust, but 1 uranium dust makes a full uranium ingot, so I don't have to go through the chunk process for that one. Block prosperity is just like redstone. You got coal, diamond, emerald, lapis lazuli, all work the same way. But then you got also all the items that can't compress or don't compress, or I should say I don't have compressed, because these two technically compress. Both of the Ceres quartz crystals can technically compress. Didn't know that. Okay, I was about to say, do I have gunpowder building up? Because if you remember, I showed it once. Under here is my explosion factory. That part is probably not going to go away entirely, so that will be interesting to try to figure out. I'll probably have to put a storage bus there that says, hey, if there's less than 64, put gunpowder in here. Or I could make a storage... Yeah, I could make a storage bus that says, if there's less than 64, put gunpowder in here, but it'll be automatically pulled away, so it'll always be less than 64. I see. That's later on. That's a lot of piping and stuff I have to do later on. Also, the ancient spores are interesting because the ancient spores are how you make witch water, which is very useful and is the best way in this mod pack to make soul sand is to use witch water. Use witch water. Use ancient spores and witch water. When you make witch water, you take a single block of sand. I'll cook the rest of that. You put it in a bucket of witch water. It makes a block of soul sand. It is the best way to make soul sand. And that feeds through there, and then glass comes out the other side. Yep. But I'm yawning like crazy, which means I'm pretty dang tired and getting distracted and getting tired of talking, so I should probably end this here. I have a lot of tedious work and other stuff to do. I don't know what the next stream, what the next game I'm going to stream is or when that will be. Hopefully it's not too long. Hopefully it's a shorter interval than this last interval was. I can't talk. Words are starting to cease, which is another good sign that I should be ending. So, yeah, on the note of interval, I'm going to end this here. Like I said, don't know next time we're going to be on, or I'm going to be on. My googly eyes. Thank you for watching if you decided to watch, and hopefully you continue to decide to watch some of this stuff whenever it gets uploaded. But at that point,